Well, good morning, everybody. It's Curdy. It's been a minute for sure. I'm here to give you a Tour de Fleece update because it's over. It ended on the 26th of July and taking a little break from spinning. just a little break. So I wanted to update you on what I was able to accomplish. I want to talk to you a little bit about why I've been absent because we were traveling. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. And I am currently prepping for Flock because my sister and I leave tomorrow for Seattle Flock and Fiber up at the convention center, and we're super excited. This is our third year attending. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And yeah, I just want to give you my Tour de Fleece stats. I had a lot planned. So if you are just joining me and this is your first episode that you're watching, my name is Curdy. I live in the Pacific Northwest. I live in the South Puget Sound on the beautiful Key Peninsula. And I travel with my husband. We travel by a travel trailer and have for years. We have an Irish setter named Zeke. He is right here in the door. I'm learning this whole vlogging experience, and so I will be continuing to learn and grow and evolve. There are so many of you on the internet that inspire me to share my journey in the fiber arts world, and so that's what I'm doing. I learned how to knit when I was 6. I'm actually going to see my cousin Mary on Friday. Tomorrow we're having dinner with her up in Seattle, and she taught me how to knit when I was 6. And then I knit intermittently, did a lot more in college, especially when I lived with my cousin. And then when I moved home in 2006, I picked up my needles again and just became a more prolific knitter and have enjoyed the process of learning and growing and challenging myself every year. And about a year and a half ago, I picked up my first spinning wheel at Red Alder Fiber Festival. And I bought it from Eugene Textiles, and they're based out of Eugene, Oregon. And I have an Ashford E-Spinner 3. And then for Christmas, my husband bought me an Ashford Traveller 3, and which is a traditional double treadle wheel. And I love it. I have just been down the rabbit hole. So this was my second year participating in Tour de Fleece. And Tour de Fleece, as I mentioned in my prior video, is a span of time during the Tour de France when the cyclists are challenging themselves by racing hand spinners from all over the world. I don't want to say are competing, but are challenging themselves to spin during the Tour de Fleece or Tour de France. Some people watch the Tour de France, and some people follow a really strict schedule of their racing days, the challenge days that they race, and then also the rest days. I kind of took it a little lighthearted because some of the rest days I couldn't do, and then we were traveling and towing our trailer to go camping, and so I was able to take some rest days because I was not able to spin in the truck. So I want to talk a little bit about my sweater. I should stand on something for just a second. My bathroom, for those of you that have been following me. Woo! Okay, so it's about that long. It's a little croppy crop. It comes to about just above my natural hip line. This is called the 1908. It is a Thea Coleman pattern, and I modified it a bit for my body, as I've talked about in some of my other videos, and just that's the beauty of hand knitting, that we can knit things specifically to our body. And it's a beautiful cable pattern. I used a worsted weight yarn from Yarn Nouveau, Alicia. She is based out of Utah, and she's actually going to be back at Flock and Fiber this weekend. So I'm going to be checking out her new colorways on her new bases, and I'm super excited. But I love this sweater. Absolutely love it. I noticed that in my videos, I touch myself a lot because I'm fascinated by, as I'm watching myself video, the pattern or the color or the texture. In this case, it's just lots of cabling, and the cabling really stands out because I believe this is a 3-ply worsted weight. So I get a lot of compliments on the sweater. And for people who are fans of Thea Coleman, they will stop me and say, oh my gosh, what a beautiful Thea Coleman sweater. So yes, as fiber nerds, we will stop each other. So I love it. Anyway, I had planned for Tour de Fleece from July 4th to July 26th, 23 days of spinning at minimum 50 grams of fiber per day. I previously, if you look at my first Tour de Fleece video, you'll see that I went through and unbagged loudly, crinkle, crinkle, all of the fiber before it was prepped and ready for spinning. And now I'm going to show you all of the bobbins. So what I do is, these are jumbo bobbins for both my e-spinner Edith and my Traveller 3 Wilma. And so what I do is I tend to stack projects. So like this is 3 projects, and I know that because I've actually labeled it. And I know about how many grams I've spun. There is some waste when spinning, just because it breaks, and the fiber breaks, and one has to take that off. I do, and restart and join. So this one has a couple of different fibers on it. Got some more here. This one has several. This one has maybe, I don't know if that has 1 or 2. This is smaller. This might actually just be 1. It's a border Cheviot. And this is a combo, a cross spin, and then same thing. So some of these only have 1 fiber on them. And you're wondering where the finished yarn is. So what I like to do is I like to spin a ton. So I get in spinning mode and I just spin, 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 spin. In this case, I actually spun 1,004 grams in 23 days. So a pound of fiber is about 453.6 grams. So I spun just over 2 pounds of wool and wool blend during 23 days, which comes out to about 43.7 grams per day. So I did miss my goal, but it was a stretch goal. And so I don't feel too bad about it because this is a lot of spinning. So these are the singles now on the bobbins. And what I will do is I will use my bobbin winder on my e-spinner, also Ashford bobbin winder. And I will, based on, I know this is about 107 grams, so I'll split that into 3 bobbins. And then I will traditionally 3-ply all of my singles into yarn. And then I do that on my e-spinner. And then I finish my yarn by soaking it in a little bit of, I use Power Scour by Unicorn Fiber, just a tiny little bit, a couple drops. And then I finish the yarn after it's kind of, after it's been soaked, I mush it in a towel so it's just kind of damp. And then I thwack it onto my countertop here in the bathroom to expand, let the fiber bloom, and then I hang them all the skeins to dry. So that process I can go through with you another time, but it's going to make a lot of yarn. So once I actually have all of the yardage from all of my finished yarn and all of it weighed out, I will share that with you. So Tour de Fleece is finished. I'm a little spun out, literally and figuratively, because as you remember in January, I spun over, I think it was like 854 grams of fiber as well. So I'm nearing, 1,900 grams of spun fiber in 2 months. And it's a lot of spinning. With Tour de Fleece, there were days where I was glad for the rest with the travel. I tried setting my eSpinner up on the floorboards in the truck. Just one day, we were headed to a birthday party out on Harstein Island, and I thought I'm just gonna do a test spin, and I probably shouldn't have started on the curviest part of the trip out through Allen, but I felt very sick to my stomach, so I did not do that. I did wind up spinning out at the island because I set myself up at the countertop in the kitchen, but I was not going to be able to do it in the truck. So one of my goals for myself this year is to learn how to spin on a Turkish spindle or supported spindle so that I can do some travel spinning, but I got a lot of knitting done. In fact, I've shown you this finished DRK everyday cardigan multiple times. I was wearing it earlier over a tank top, but I wanted to put this sweater on because I do like to wear hand knits when I film. And I have both sleeves almost finished on the other two cardigans, which I showed you in previous video, and I will show you again once they're finished. So what I have to do is I have to tack the collar down with whip stitch on both of those sweaters that are not on camera here now. And then I get the opportunity to apply the button bands on both. So, that takes a while. So it's probably going to be closer to like the end of September before I'm done with those sweaters. And I'm just looking at my notes here. So I did a lot of knitting on our travels because we went to Sun Lakes first, over in central Washington, over north of Soap Lake, north of Ephrata, south of Coulee City. And we were there for 2 nights. And then we, so like a Friday night, Saturday night, I actually am going, hopefully it already worked. Hopefully I already put, and was able to attach via like movie making magic here, my spinning from when we were sitting next to Park Lake. So on Saturday at Sun Lakes on the 18th, we took a walk in the morning, which we like to do. And then we went over to the state park because we were staying at the resort. So we went over to the state park and we found a spot that was not occupied yet. So we went back, loaded up my wagon. I grabbed Wilma, my traditional wheel, and packed all of our lunch food, sparkling water, all that stuff into our cooler. Steve packed our umbrella and our Tommy Bahama chairs, and away we went, and it was glorious. We paddle boarded, we swam, the dog went in the lake to catch the ball, and I sat and spun. I did a lot of spinning at the campground too, at our campsite, and people would just stop and stare. Kids love to stop and talk to me. Adults are a little like, what are you doing? But a lot of people were interested and stopped to talk to me, which was really, really fun. And so I did wind up getting a lot of spinning done. I have a car mat from our truck. So we upgraded our car mats to kind of those harder plastic ones. And so I have the fabric ones. And so I have one that I just carry with me. I actually put it under my wheel at home so it doesn't slide on the laminate floor. I put it under my wheel when we travel. And then whenever I take my my Traveller outside, I want to keep it clean. I don't want to get, dirt on the legs or in the gears or sand or stuff in the gears. So I put a mat underneath it. So just FYI, and I had it up by the picnic table. So anyone who's cringing like I was, spinning on the beach in the sand, don't you worry. I was up kind of on the grass, and I had the mat underneath, and I shake it off, and yeah, I had to clean her when she got home just because the foot pedals the treadles were just a little dirty. So I just took a soft cloth and my my wood oil and just buffed her up, and she's doing great. What I did notice, I will tell you, for experienced spinners out there, what I did notice is that humidity and the heat. So over in eastern Washington, central Washington, and Idaho, it was very warm, in the mid to high 90s. So I did notice some drive bands slipping. So I tried to keep my traditional spinning to inside, where my e-wheel, she could go outside, Edith could go outside because I wasn't worried about a drive band slipping. But I did notice that I was constantly having to do plyback tests when I would restart I'm doing a big sweater spin on Wilma, and it had a lot to do with it felt like the band stretching out because it would get hot, and then put her back in the air conditioning and the band would go back to normal. And so yeah, that was a challenge and something I hadn't expected. I had to do lots of oiling. She was creaky. Just, again, the wood expanding and contracting with the humidity and the heat and the cooling and all of that. So, the stories of the traveling Wilma, I guess. Yeah, she did well. Just struggle. I have decided, instead of strapping her in the trailer, that I am going to actually continue to travel with her in the backseat of the truck when we take these longer trips. So there's that. And then when we got to Priest Lake in Idaho, we went to actually for a trip to visit my husband's family, who all comes into Elkins Resort once a year in July, and they all meet up. So they come in from Michigan and Eastern Washington and Central Washington, and that was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. We did not stay at Elkins Resort because they don't have RV spots, but we did stay in Coolin, Idaho, and we even found a campground that has full hookup that we'd like to stay at the next time we go. So we did some exploring. It was smoky. It was really hot. Not as smoky as it could have been. Not as smoky as other places we were last year, like in Flathead Lake, Montana, and in Eastern Washington on the Pend Oreille River. So we were blessed with that. It didn't choke us out, but felt really bad for everybody who's experiencing the wildfires, the devastation, and also just, the challenges with people who have challenges with breathing all that smoky air and having to stay inside and not get to enjoy outdoors. I was outside all the time. So it was beautiful. So on the last day, Friday, that we were in Priest Lake, we were up at Elkins Resort for the whole day, and I brought both my wheels. I set up both my wheels on the overlook to the beach, again, on my mat, and then my e-wheel, I had her on the cooler, top of the cooler. And so many people stopped to talk to me. My husband's family members would come and sit with me for an incredibly long period of time, just talking about things that they like to do for crafting. I got to know everyone really well because I was sitting there. People were fascinated. And then just everybody that would walk by, like on the way to the lodge and back to the marina and back to the beach and back. And it was fun. I met a little girl who was about 7, who just started learning how to knit last year in her Waldorf school. And so that was really sweet. So she stopped, and I actually said, you're on your way back. Stop. I'll show you some of the knitting projects I'm working on. And then she got just in and fascinated with some of the cousins who were making friendship bracelets out of embroidery thread. And so the mom said, "Oh, this is the fun cabin," because we were all doing arts and crafts. And so I love that knitting in public and spinning in public just invites people to stop and talk to me. And I'm kind of an introvert trapped in an extrovert's body, so I do enjoy socializing with people, and then I need to go back and put myself on my charger pad and recharge. But the whole trip was incredible, and I was grateful to be able to have the opportunity to continue, knitting and spinning throughout my time there. So, as I mentioned, what is next? Okay, so we talked about the cardigans, and I talked about the fact that this is all going to get plied up into yarn in August, so I will update you. I am being real loosey-goosey right now about a filming schedule. As you can see, I didn't film for week 2 for Tour de Fleece. I didn't film during week 3. I'm filming after, and that's okay. I have been enjoying all of the people that I follow on YouTube, I've been enjoying their videos and updates. And it just, I feel like it all holds space for me to then be available when I'm available. And I don't want to make these terribly long, but I do want to continue filming. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. So flock, we are preparing for flock. So I'm packing and getting, we get all our food prepped and in coolers and everything to take up with us. So I did mention we'll go out to dinner one night, but I do love the food that I eat. It's whole unprocessed foods. So I like going out to a restaurant. It's fun to not have to do dishes, but it is it is nice to just eat stuff and know that my digestive system is going to be fantastic because I ate my own food throughout the whole trip. So yay for dinner tomorrow night. But right now, like I said, packing my food for breakfast and lunches, and getting all of my fiber ready. So my sister Jody, and hopefully we'll do a little video up in Seattle, but we have been planning flock. Well, we plan it. We like put it on our calendar for the next year, and then once everything goes live, so the weekend marketplace tickets, classes, she was actually in Boston, so I was in charge of classes. So the class schedule gets posted, so it's all of the descriptions of the classes, and then we go through and we decide what do we want, and is there anything that we really both want to take together, anything we want to take individually. This year what we decided on, last year we took a blending board class, which was really fun, from Clemis and Clemis. That was amazing. And we're bringing our blending boards this year because we are actually going to spend our off time in the evenings blending fiber. I've done a lot of it. My sister hasn't done as much, and so she wants to practice and have me give her some tips and tricks. So I'm excited about that. So I've been packing fiber that I want to blend on my blending board into bats and into roll legs. So I should probably do a little filming about that. And then last year we also took a spinning for color class with Susan from Calypso Farms up near Anchorage, Alaska. So not in Anchorage, but on the outskirts. And she's going to be back. I actually saw on Instagram, she posted that she's coming back. She is teaching a class. And last year her whole family came, and it was so much fun to meet everybody. So hopefully I'll run into her. It doesn't sound, we're not taking a class with her this year, and I can't remember if she's taking any classes with us. But anyway, this year we are taking a woolen spinning class, and we are taking a sheep to sweater class. So processing raw fiber, raw fleece, and prepping for a sweater spin. So new things I'm going to be learning this year. Again, Turkish spindle spinning. I'll talk more about that in another video. Supported spindle spinning, talk about that in another video. And then processing fleece, raw fleece to spin for projects. And so these are things that, again, I told you kind of at the beginning, I like the evolution of my fiber journey is challenging myself to new things each year. And that is over the next year, I'm kind of thinking like Tour de Fleece to Tour de Fleece. Those are the kinds of things that I want to be learning. So we're doing that. And then Saturday is the marketplace. I'm hoping I can get a little bit of video and some photos there. I have a couple things on my list, multiple booths I want to visit, a couple things on my list that I want to purchase, although I have a lot of fiber still in my stash, even though this was supposed to be a de-stash year for Tour de Fleece. I did a lot of de-stash. I still have a lot of fiber. So I'll be interested to see what it is that I find interesting. It might be that Saturday is more of a walk around in the afternoon day because our class is till 1. We're going to eat lunch, and then we'll go probably from 1:30 or 2 to 5. Might not be a big like purchase afternoon, but more of a, I want to go back. Things I might not be able to get on Sunday, then I'll purchase, but it might be like, hey, I want to go back to these booths on Sunday and do some more some more shopping for these things. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to see vendors I saw last year, new vendors I didn't get to see, new to me vendors that I didn't really get to spend time at last year. And then there's new vendors this year as well. And it's just fun to walk around and meet everybody and see what people have been wearing. What knits they're wearing, things that they've made. My sister and I did have a long conversation about that. It's supposed to be 84 degrees tomorrow. So we're not planning on wearing hand knits tomorrow. Last year we were miserable. I was. I'm not going to speak for her. I was miserable in the Summit building at the convention center for classes. It was so hot in the classrooms. The air conditioning was not on. We took back-to-back classes. So we took classes for 6 hours with a lunch break in between. And I was so hot. I could not get enough water in me. By the end of the second class, I was like, sorry, Susan, I was ready to pass out. I was like packing up early, and I said, I need air. I've got to go. I need to get out of here. So this year I'm like flowy top and some, flowy pants, because I just am not going to be able to wear hand knits. We've got our knits that we're going to wear planned for Saturday and Sunday when it's a little bit cooler, and they have the air conditioning on in the marketplace. So yeah, but that's what's going on. I am still madly in love with spinning, and I am grateful for the break. I did a little bit of spinning yesterday because I'm still working on the big sweater project. I have 42 grams of fiber left to spin of the merino yak silk from Siren of the Skeins that I purchased at Pacific Northwest Expo in Port Angeles last year. And then that will need to be plied up, and then I'm going to be making the Smithfield vest, which I've talked to you about, from Wanderlust Knitters. So much going on in my fiber world. Tell me about you in the comments. What else do you want to know more about? I would love for you to subscribe and like this video, share it. I am just excited to be part of this incredible community here, sharing my fiber journey. I want to do a whole video on the people that I follow, and I would love to hear more about the people that you follow. I know one of the people that I follow, Starlight and Stitches, Tashi. I'm taking a class from them on Saturday. That's the sheep to sweater class, and I am a huge fan. I watch all of their vlogs. So I am super excited to meet them in person. They're also a nurse, and I'm a nurse. And so, just the things, fiber nerd, nurse, like, hey. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.
And here is Curdy working her magic with the beautiful scenery behind her.
This is some real